Welcome, everybody. What's up to the poppers, the floppers, and all the rampagers joining again. Episode 3, The Path, The Last of Us Season 2. I'm here with the main man himself, Zach, Hollywood Zach, and of course, your boy, the final boss, coming off of one of the most depressing, impactful episodes of television, of HBO. We're here with episode 3, kind of to get us back into it and kind of see, where our next journey on the path will be. But everyone who's jumped in with us for this Last of Us reviews, for all of our West Coast pop reviews, we really appreciate all the comments, all the likes, everyone that jumps in and leaves your opinions, whether you would disagree with us or you want something to add to it, or you're just enjoying the show. I love the community. I love all the support and all your messages, man. We really appreciate it. So shout out to all you guys. Zach, coming off episode 2, man, how you feeling this week?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling a bit better. I don't feel as depressed as last week, but I don't think this episode fixed me.
Okay.
I don't think it did what playing the game did for me after seeing this. So get your comments in as we discuss, because I'd like to know different takes, and I gotta really find out your take on this compared to playing the
game. Everyone who's just jumping in, this is your first review that you watched of us. Zach is currently playing the game and watching the game for the first time. So his perspective, is in real time with stuff that happened in the game. I played the game when it first came out a few years ago, and I'm watching the show. I knew what to expect last week, and I was still blown away. So anybody in the chat, let us know if you've played the games or you're just jumping with the show and how you might think of some of the changes and some of the comparisons. Or if you're just fresh to the show, let us know what you think, man. Naughty Dog's The Last of Us. Jumping into episode 3, Zach. We get hit with a bang here. I've been saying this. I said this last week. I coined this last week, Zach. Big scene Bella. Every time we need her to deliver, they deliver. It's incredible. Bella is incredible. Again, just this was kind of a continuation of the last week's episode, because I still felt the pain right here.
This was great. This was a nice release as you're watching them do this scene. It is so visceral. It is so gut-wrenching as we, juxtapose it to what Tommy does. I like this. This is like if you ever just had to shout into your pillow or something like that. I really like this as a viewer to kind of get it all out.
We definitely do. And again, we need to make sure she gets a nomination for this. This is incredible work. So shout out to Bella. And then, of course, just leading into it, we get the time jump. So we realize, because of her wounds, you don't get to see some of the injuries that happen in the game. You kind of just roll with the punches. But what happened to her, she was out for 3 months in the show. She wakes up, and the first person you got to talk to is Captain O'Hara, high off the weed. It's up in the clouds. Zach, that back and forth, we don't know. So one of the things, when you're playing the game, you're the perspective of the character. She tells Catherine O'Hara's character that she didn't reconcile with Joel at the end on the porch. Mm-hmm. Do you believe her?
The whole point of most of this conversation was the fact that she's a liar.
Yeah.
So part of me wants to say no, but the other part of me says maybe.
Yeah. Playing the game the way they cut it, she does get to have a moment with Joel on the porch, and they do get to talk and hash it out. I like how they're playing this up for us and not knowing, because I would imagine at some point we're going to get some flashback scene and we might see what actually happened. But the fact that they're playing it up, and the way Ellie just doesn't want to talk about it with anyone. The only person I think she'd open up to right now is Dina. That's the only person I can see her really opening up and telling the truth. So I thought this was a good scene.
Yeah, I liked it. It played smart, and like you said, it sets up something later, and I think what it sets up could set up Pedro's final appearance in the series. Yeah. It's a nice goodbye after the gut-wrenching one we saw last week. It'll be a really sweet one that we know that they did reconcile.
Yeah, after him getting killed off twice in HBO programming, I think he deserves a happy way to go out, not what we saw last week. And then moving on, not only 3 months in, 3 months has happened, lots changed. They're still rebuilding. The whole city, the whole Jackson just went through a mess with the blizzard, with the freaking bloater, all the clickers, and then rebuilding. But some changes that happened, Zach. Jesse, Mr. Captain America over here, stick to the rules. The Blue Boy Scout. He's now part of the committee.
It's good. It shows advancement for his character, especially as Was it Dina or Ellie that said it that he was going to be anyways at some point? We're just waiting for him to.
I believe it was Ellie.
It was Ellie last. Yeah. Last week when they saw the weed. I think it's good. Someone again, if you want to, please leave comments on anything that you noticed on the show. Someone made a comment on I think our last episode where we don't know what Jesse went through. Jesse had to go through all this stuff, and Jesse had to like go find someone that he had a relationship with, go through all this, and someone that he knows very well, and bring them back, and bring Joel's body back by himself. So I hope we get more of this, but I like that there is advancement with him, and it does show that he is kind of a leader, moving on the way he has moved on.
Yeah, and I've been saying this ever since we started the reviews. Jesse in the game, he doesn't get much screen time. You don't see much of him. He's here and there in the game because he's more of a side character, kind of. So I think the way, I forget his name, the actor's name that's playing him, but the way he's playing him, I think it's really he has some freedom to do stuff. I think he's doing the character justice. I think he's elevating the character.
Yeah.
Plus, he looks jacked right there. So shout out to the band putting the work in. But
buttons open,
great stuff there, man. Going from Jesse, we also find out this is another change in the game. You know, Dina having more of a closer relationship with Joel. They're playing into Dina, showing that she's capable as well. Now, I don't know if just because it was so traumatizing what happened, but her memory seems to be incredible. She remembers every single detail, and she turns out to be the focus point of where our characters will get that launching pad for their journey. Coming into this 3 months, she bakes Ellie some cookies, tells her, hey, I know everybody's name. I know where they were from. I know their group. And we get to see that, and we get to see Ellie's reaction. We get to see part of the game. This is what happened in the real game, where she smelled Joel's coat. That part got me.
Yes.
This is just brutal stuff, man. So this whole thing, they changed a bit. In the game, you know, I think Maria comes down, has a note where Tommy left.
Yes.
Going off this scene and how they played it up, what some of the changes, how do you feel about this so far?
Liked and disliked it. I loved how Bella did the scene from the game.
Yeah.
She made it even heavier than the game, so that was really great to watch as a viewer. You're talking Emmy. I mean, this right there, just you can see the image of her by the jackets. That was so big. And the not like is the rest of this scene. I get making Dina this focal point of cutting the game stuff out, because all the stuff that she said happens as you kind of move along in the game. So all right, we got to cut that out. I get it. But now you're making her, I don't know. I don't like how Dina's written. I'll just say that. I don't like how Dina's written. I don't like how Dina is written with Ellie. This character doesn't really work for me like it works in the game. I love Dina's character in the game. In the show, there's just something about how she's written that just, it doesn't work for me in this scene, how they changed it. It makes me think like, all right, well, Eugene told you all that. Joel killed Eugene. Did Eugene tell Abby's people this? Like, I don't know how they're going to play this out, if they even are going to touch on anything. But having her be so knowledgeable with everything and being so, I don't know what her position is in ranks to like Jesse and everyone else, but it just seems like someone more like Jesse or above, like Tommy or his wife, would have all this information.
I kind of see which you're going. I see which way you're going. I think for the most part, the scene works for me. Obviously, the stuff that they kept from one from the game. I just remember from this game, for people who haven't played it, at this point, you find out Ellie and Tommy's already talked. Tommy told Ellie one thing and did the other, and dipped out to go on a rampage, to Seattle. And then we have that extra element. It's not just Ellie and Dina. We have Maria who comes in and reads the note and kind of tells them without telling them, here's the resources, go after it, right? I think that was little that part after playing the game. I think I preferred that one more in the game. I just feel like it's tough. It's really tough. I don't mind Dina being that focal point and knowing, but we got to see more scenes. I think we get more scenes down the line. We can kind of see how capable she is, and I'm going to wait and see approach right now. But the change is I'm a little iffy on.
I just don't like the writing, Dina knowing all this and didn't do anything with it until now. Eugene died way before this, way before the time jump and all this shit. So this is, I I don't know how to criticize this correctly. So if anyone else in the chat has any issues with this, let me know.
Yeah, and
It's just weird writing.
Let us know too, because I thought that was that just reminded me. It kind of felt a little out of character. Dina holding on to something for three months. I know she wanted away from Ellie. What happened?
Longer even, because Eugene died way before all this stuff happened. So Eugene told Dina this stuff months before even Joel was killed.
Yeah, that's a good point too. I don't think anyone's mentioned that, and I think what felt out of character, it kind of felt out of character for me because, of course, Ellie's gonna forgive Dina. That's her girl. But the way she did it and how it went about, I thought I need a little more from there.
Yeah,
I think they're kind of just smoothing it over, but it just didn't. The pieces didn't fit properly. But moving on from the episode here, again, Dina the focal point here. She has all the answers, and I did like though at the end, the dynamics between her and Ellie in the sense where Ellie's just head first rushing, all emotion, just whatever happens. And Dina's the one that would actually a plan, a construct of how we're going to do things, what we need to a T. So I do like that they added that for her.
I like that too. It's just, again, how Dina is written, it just irks me because it reminds me of how Ferris Bueller spoke to Cameron the entire time. It's like a know-it-all character who is, I get what they're trying to do with Dina, and I like it. It's just how she's written so far in the series. It's just, again, it's like Ferris Bueller talking to Cameron, which, if you really analyze, is very like, I don't know. It's like not nasty, but it's just like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe it's just me. I don't know.
We'll see. We're 3 episodes in. Usually, what they did last season with the 4th episode was more of the backstory and catching people up. What they did with bug out my boy's name. Was it Frank? Bill and Frank.
Bill.
Yeah. So I believe at next episode we're gonna get a nice backstory and flesh things out before things pop off with 5 and 6. But another character that got affected, again, for something so heavy, some of these shots in this episode were just so incredible.
Knock thinks it's so sweet. Look at that face. He loves the performance right here. I gotta say, this was such a nice way for a brother to say goodbye to a brother, because in the show, in the game, he kind of already said goodbye to his brother once, so it didn't need to be this huge dramatic thing. This was nice and subtle, and it made everything it was different. So if they're going to do this change in the storytelling from the game, this was the right direction to go. Again, I like the game better because I just like Tommy just going crazy apeshit and going after the wolves. But this performance is really well done. Let me know your thoughts on this, anyone out there, because it's their goodbye, and that's it. So now that Tommy's not going after the wolves that we know of, he may go after in the next episode, or may go after Dina and Ellie. But this is it. It's a totally different demeanor for Tommy, and that's what's kind of it's dividing fans online. I'm fine with it because the performance was so great. But storyline wise, I guess we'll see where we go.
Yeah. So do you really think he's going to stay behind, stay put after this? It's a different dynamic of doing it. He's going to be one chasing, but there's no way he can stay behind. I think they showed his sniper skills. Right.
If they switch it, that's fine, and he goes after them. That still makes sense storytelling.
Yeah, and I think that'd be kind of cool too. Being the protective. He's the uncle in a sense. Taking over for Joel. So yeah, these two dynamics here. Well, this is where he had to clean off his brother. It was a crazy send off, and then right there, that's when Ellie told him what Dina knew, and that was kind of crazy. Dina could have told Tommy for the very least. She could have told him, but that's another story.
You should have told earlier, then none of this would have happened. But
true. Shout out to Gabe though, delivering another great performance. Then here in the midst of it all, another difference from the games, the council. They wanted to have a big committee discussion with everybody in the community. Ellie's out here working on her punches. She's been out for 3 months. Jesse's the one training her. Jesse just seems like he's like the top dog, and I like seeing that from him. Again, another side character didn't get too much.
Yeah,
trying to train her. Good scene. We got to see some of that little Captain America fury from Ellie. Love it.
You got to see a Warner Brothers placement in the wall there, Matrix.
Hey, it is Max. And we get to the big scene here. Zach, this whole round table, we'll get to it. It was 8 no's, but 3 yeses. I think we can guess the yeses. I believed, it was Maria, Jesse, and Tommy, of course. Were you surprised by this? Did this scene work for you? Seth, of course, being the one who had an issue with Ellie and now them kind of vouching for her in a sense.
This scene worked for me until I watched the Last of Us after show. And they said one thing that we wanted to do when you watch big things like this, when a lot of people die, we focus on the main characters and we don't want to just be about the loss of the main character. They wrote this as the loss of the main character. Now thinking back on it, when they went down the list, what they should have done to make it focus on everyone else that died, do these scenes where everyone talks about who they lost and like something like what to do with them or what to do to help them move forward or whatever, the way they talked about Joel in this. And then you get to Joel at the end. That way he seems just as important as everyone else, because the way they wrote it now, they wrote it exactly how they don't like all these other scenes focusing on the main character. Because now they totally focus on the main character, but it worked for me in viewing. In hindsight, it didn't.
Okay. I kind of get that.
But I like the line. I like the more line in this. We'll talk about Catherine O'Hara again a little later, but it plays into the theme of the episode about her character and how she just needs to get to what she wants.
I wonder if Catherine O'Hara, speaking just mentioned, I wonder if she's gonna be doing more in this season, because like kind of seems like they might be building something for her to like. She's putting some evidence together or something. I don't know, or she's getting to really know people. I don't know if she might have a bigger role at some point. But I'm just gonna go ahead and say this, man. As a guy who played the game, as someone who I know Joel's just another community member, but he was the main guy building everything, right? He was the main foreman. He's the brother and brother-in-law of the 2 main people that run the whole thing, right? Yeah. He's not just another regular guy. He's not just a normal guy, okay? So all these soft jabronis that said, nah, go ahead, pee in my eye, it's whatever. They just came down here and killed and walked away. I don't respect none of it. Because you guys are happy living here. You were happy when Joel was building your stuff. You're happy when they protected you. All you did was a lot of people that said, nah, we're not going to go help out. They didn't even ask you personally to go help out. They said we're going to send some of our finest. All you do is hold on the fort, make it look good until they get back.
Sit in the basement.
I don't respect it.
Relax.
I don't respect it at all. That's just my
okay.
3 no's. It's a shame, man. And I do love the not promo, but the speech Ellie did give. I thought it was well written and I actually believed what she was saying, even though in hindsight, I don't believe her, because I know no matter what, her mind was made up. She was going no matter what. This was just icing on the cake. This was just a formality. She was going no matter what.
I agree with you. I bought into it too. And it wasn't until the scene at the baseball game with Catherine O'Hara where I was like, oh, wait, she was bullshitting everyone. And now she's bullshitting me, the viewer, who should have been smarter. So that was a great performance by Bella.
Yeah. So I thought, again, we all knew after last week's episode, we're going to get like a slow down episode, kind of get some reaction, and wait till we get to another big one. And I thought it was a good cool down episode. Again, not too much happening, but visually and acting wise is what carried this. Then we get the debut of, I think they're called the Seraphites in the game. They're on the outside looking in. They're like a cult-like group. There's a lot of them. They habitat like a particular island near Seattle. And one of their biggest...
Don't spoil the game now. I'm not there yet.
Oh, no. I mean, you kind of see
they all turn out to be jokers.
No. You just... Okay. You always get different perspectives. Like, okay, we played as Joel and Jackson, good guys. Abby's group views him as the bad guy. Abby's group has a bunch of bad guys, but it's just people, right?
Okay.
So on the outside looking in, when you meet these people, they look like cult-like, but there's just different aspects of different people in the different groups. But one of their main, like that, they kind of hinted at it. One of their main feuds or main like struggles is against the Wolves. Like they're complete enemies. I'm not going to go into like any details, but they're massive enemies.
Okay, so does this take away then, if they're not on their island, does this take away from the effect that it has in the game coming up for me then? They're going through regular ass area where the Wolves would be rather than sticking to their
I'm not sure if they changed it or if they still have like a island type of thing, but it was always a territory and they would like retreat to this. I'm not going to say too much there, but like,
okay.
Yeah, they might have changed it. I don't think it's too big a deal to like, if they're in a different area, if they don't even reference that. But I think more of the struggle is what the meat of these two factions are.
Okay. Good looking haircuts.
So yeah, we kind of see, and then again, it's another guy, just trying to lead his people. I will say there were they're good enemy types in the game. They play very different than most people. But
All right.
the introduction here, quick introduction. We'll see how it plays out in the show. Going back to Ellie and Dina, like we said earlier, the plan Dina put together, she has Ellie's back no matter what. They're rock solid, and they're about to embark on what's going to be a very long and grueling journey to Seattle. These scenes right here, before they go on that journey, I thought we were going to get Maria at some point. I thought Maria was going to stop them or, do something. But Seth got the horses. They had it all figured out. They're on their way at 3 a.m. sharp. And then we get these beautiful scenes, Zach. I thought the cinematography here was incredible.
This is really great. And this is where you can do a little bit more than the game because you can take time to breathe in a TV show. The game, you did it really quick. I don't even know if it lasted 2 minutes being at the grave.
I don't know.
Like, this was great. This is beautiful. And again, I love when they showcase the areas that they're in because they're in beautiful parts of the country. But just this, it's just there. You got like the stuff growing there, but it's still just everything just looks dead because it's dark. Yeah. There's no green. There's nothing, and it just, man. I just have a question. What was with the coffee beans being put on the grave?
So I'm trying to think back in the game if it really meant much, but I know in season 1, Joel was always drinking coffee. Like he was always like, you don't like coffee. He like every scene they were like just chilling or camping out, he had coffee, and that was a big thing for him.
Okay.
I don't remember how much of the game though. Yeah. And then a lot of people have been complaining about some of these changes with like the scenery, like Joel not being in a basement when it happened, or like even this, I've seen people complain about because it was more in the snow and different. Listen, TV is a visual medium. This is incredible. And the whole Joel basement thing, I have no complaints with that. It was still brutal. It still worked.
Yeah, it was still beautiful. And also, you know what this does? Because I think when I streamed it too, I made a joke about there's no way they dug a grave in the wintertime for Joel. This makes it last. They're in where his brother was, where Tommy was.
Yeah.
And let's just say you keep him on ice or do whatever, and then it makes sense. Everything makes sense about this. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I was completely on board with it. And then finally, they're off in the woods, in the wilderness. I kind of like these scenes, just bonding. Again, these scenes where she's on the horse with Ellie, they kind of talked about in the behind the scenes where like Ellie's now the front of the horse riding as opposed to being in the back with Joel. And these are now our 2 characters we're going to embark on this journey with. But this entire time she was there with Dina on the horse, it just felt like the game. It felt like I was playing that part of the game where I was riding through the horses to get to Seattle. So that was kind of cool.
I didn't get that feeling. I wondered when I was watching that I didn't feel it. I think it was just how it was shot. Okay. I know you can't just show the ass of a horse for 2.5 minutes of. Okay. But I didn't. I didn't get it. It honestly, this and the part with the Joker cult, it just seemed very, and how they shot them on the highway with the cars, a little too Walking Dead for me. Okay. And it didn't feel like The Last of Us anymore. It wasn't terrible. It was just like it just felt more like this than it did.
I can see that shot kind of looks like a familiar Walking Dead shot. I can see that.
But I never got that from the game, so that's another thing where like the game is really good.
So we're in the woods here, and then they're going about their business. Dina and Ellie talk about the kiss a little bit, kind of very awkwardly. But they're going about their romance and about them getting together very differently. Kind of like it's a different path to get there, I guess.
That's the name of the episode.
And then so then just jumping on here, they find Seattle. I thought it was pretty crazy. Like you said, we were talking about like the Walking Dead type of thing. Again, it's not just more of a filler episode. They find Seattle. And here's the thing I wanted to mention. When Abby's group was going to Jackson, they just assumed, because of what they know, that, this is going to be a massive group full of fighters. They got all their tactics, everything. They were going over their battle strategies. Oh, they got dogs. They got people here. Look, we're never going to be able to get in there. And that's because where they come from, as we see later on, it's a massive military-driven group.
Yeah.
When Abby and Ellie get there, they're assuming it's going to be, it's going to be a small group. We don't see anybody. We're fine. And they're going to be completely wrong. So we get different perspectives because of what people know. and Ellie and Dina don't know how big the world is, and that's going to
true.
be a huge learning curve for them. But besides that, Zach, while we're here, before we get to the preview for next episode, do you have any last thoughts before we get to the grade?
My thoughts. I unfortunately went back to where I was in episode 1 with Dina and Ellie's relationship. I don't think it feels right. It doesn't feel like the game. It doesn't feel. And I don't need it to feel like the game. It just doesn't feel like. I don't know. It's just not working for me. I'll just say that. I'm not feeling it, and it just sucks because I see some of this behind the scenes stuff. I'm like, there it is. These two like conversing behind the scenes when the camera's not rolling. It's like, oh man, these two are really getting along. They're joking. They're going over lines. This is so good. This works. And then you get what we see on camera, and it's like it doesn't work at all for me. I don't know where the disconnect is, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Let me know in the comments if you think it is, but you think it works, though, don't you not?
I think I'm more on the side of it does work so far. But I do see some hiccups. I think some of the dialogue I think could do more justice for Dina, especially.
Yeah.
I think once we get to some of the scenes where there's more, I think we'll see them both deliver, and then we can kind of get more on the side of them. Now I think it's not hot right now, but it's working for me.
Okay. A lot of these down scenes were the ones that I really liked about him. So this is just where it just kind of like irks me. Like this is where I want to get to know the characters.
Okay. Yeah. That one goes because I mean, do you remember like when Pedro and Bella had their first few seasons? That connection in the first season?
Yeah, I thought that connection worked because it was just you're seeing different types of people with the same personality.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see. They have 2 seasons, I think, or we'll see how it goes to really lock in since they're breaking up part 2 into 2 seasons. Grade-wise, I think I was telling Zach a little bit. We expected a filler episode. I thought, again, this episode was held up by the acting and some of the visuals. I'm going to give it a nice 7.5 out of 10. Nothing bad, just solid. Got the job done, and we're setting up for next episode.
I'm going to give it a 6.9. I thought the visuals and everything was good. I thought the first half was good. It's, again, the relationship with Dina and Bella isn't there for me with Ellie. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, and maybe it's something that I can come back to after they build it later on and give this a better grade. I am going to rewatch this tonight, so maybe I'll see something I missed. But a good down episode. I thought it was a very well down episode. There's just some nitpicks on there that I just thought was, I don't know, it just didn't hit. This episode really didn't hit for me, but it wasn't terrible, and it was beautiful.
All right. So let us know in the chats what you guys grade this episode and if you're still enjoying the season. But besides that, season 2, episode 3, we got some stuff upcoming. Again, kind of talking about, I do believe season 4, we're finally getting Jeffrey Wright and his version of Isaac. He's the main guy of the Wolves. He's the leader. Have you met him in the game yet, Zach?
Not yet.
Okay. So that should be very interesting to see that perspective. I think Jeffrey Wright is going to play that role. It's a good role for him, man. I'm very excited to see his take on it. I also believe, I don't know, but I do feel we're going to get some type of backstory with Isaac and when you get his introduction. So that'll be pretty cool. If you've seen some of the previews, actually, again, I don't truly remember if they even went into it, or if I just don't remember the issues and the problems these two groups have with each other. I don't remember exactly what happened, but again, here goes Dina and Ellie getting to Seattle. If I want to get to, again, massive amounts of people with a military force. If you see here for the preview, Isaac, this looks like a younger Isaac, and he's wearing a Fedra gear. So he was part of the military group. So I wonder if that's why he has the Wolves acting that way. And we get to see some of his backstory. So I think we're getting some of his backstory.
Okay.
Then we got Dina here coming up. That's why I think she might deliver one of her best scenes. Already can tell from the visual. She's crying. She's pointing the gun at Ellie. I would imagine Ellie got bit or she got exposed to something, and Dina doesn't fully know that she's immune. So we're going to have a very interesting scene when that comes up. Besides that, Zach, I don't know if you have anything else looking forward to. I think that's it for me for this review. 7.5 out of 10 for me. Zach, you got anything else?
No, that's about it. Again, I'm going to watch it tonight one more time and hopefully catch some stuff or maybe appreciate something a little bit more than I didn't. Yeah, I just got to keep playing and staying ahead of this because they're starting to get ahead of where I am and they're jumping.
Yeah.
way farther ahead of where I am. So it's tough to stay ahead, but I'm going to keep trying.
Yeah, and it was confirmed episode 4 will be an hour. I believe it's 7 episodes this season, right? Episode 4 should be a nice hour. We're anticipating a massive episode 6. So we're on for the ride here. So season 4, great stuff there. 7.5 out of me, 6.9 out of 10 for Zach. That was our Last of Us episode 3 review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Stick with your boys. Leave your comments. If you guys got anything else to add to it, we'll definitely love to know. But we'll see you guys in the comments, and we'll see you guys next Monday for episode 4. Peace out, y'all.